Hey everybody, we're going to go ahead and jump right into things. I'm going to start a new run. I'm going to count us down real quick. So it's going to be in 3, 2, 1, go. Alright. So this is ElecHead, and we are doing 100%, which means I'm going to grab that sneaky little color palette right there. Every time I grab one of the special color palettes, it's going to give you a little preview of what it would look like if we were going to use it. We're going to stick with this grape and green color palette, as I like to call it, which was chosen by the runners in this marathon. So shout out to everybody that's participating and helping to raise money for Child's Play. ElecHead is an indie puzzle platformer that came out at the end of last year from a solo Japanese dev, Nama Takahashi. He has got a brilliant mind for indie games, and he's quickly become somebody that I'm continuously looking forward to his next projects. So this game is centered around our main character, which is our little robot friend Elec. He's got a powerful brain, and it's going to electrify the world as we make our way through it. We're going to get a couple power-ups here and there, but right now we're just making our way through, kind of figuring out these simple little puzzles to get acclimated with the mechanics of this game. Gonna try to do some little speed tech here and there, corner clipping off of corners as we go through. Grabbing a lot of these little checkpoints, which light up like that. I can only grab them if I'm my full stealth, which that'll make sense eventually. And that checkpoint I just grabbed is really important. It's actually a death warp that's kind of the first big moment in this run. I have to avoid all other checkpoints now, and preferably not die. Coming down here and picking up these green key cards, which is part of 100% and also part of the alternate ending. Alternate ending is the quickest way to get 100%, or the quickest ending to use to get credits. So that's what we're going to be doing. And we'll talk a little bit about what 100% is. And there's a little break in the action, if you will. But right now I'm just coming through, kind of progressing through the game. Like I said, I've got to avoid... Checkpoints are basically an obstacle now because I've got my death warp set up. Which is really important because there's one color palette that we're meant to get at the very, very end. It takes a very long time to get there, but I'm going to use this death warp checkpoint setup so I can get it relatively quickly. Got a wall ride. Alright. The last tough bit before we get to this death warp. So I'm gonna come over here and pick up the big power up and give myself the ability to throw my head, which that's where all the juice is contained. So now we're going to be able to kind of separate the head from the body and do some cool stuff. There's a death warp. There's a self-destruct button. Climb this ladder right here and get this sneaky color palette. There are a total of 13 color palettes, 10 of them, which we're going to collect. Now we got to backtrack a little bit, get back to where we were. We do have some nice jams going on now. We've got the power up, which soundtrack in this game is one of my favorite things about it. Good mix of kind of retro, some modern twists. Another key card sitting up here. Death warp back to this checkpoint. There's not a great deal of death warps left, so little time saves here and there. The any percent run of this game is about 3 minutes and 30 seconds, and it's all basically one big death warp. So it's a really fun run, especially if you like kind of min-maxing really short runs where, you know, half a second really matters. I'm going to skip this puzzle entirely right there by being good at the video game. Little gray key cards we're picking up just open up doors, and we'll see them throughout the run. the length at which we use them get a little more complex as we go. Not touch the bad chains. Several obstacles in this game are designed around the fact that you create electricity. So if you stand on something that's connected to, you know, a zapper or a shooter, it's going to zap you or it's going to shoot you. On to teleporter number 3. Learn about self-destruct here, but we already knew about that. Do some speedrun strats and try to clip the head through there. Save a little bit of time, power up these platforms. I really have to commend Dev and this game in general for really kind of squeezing every bit of life out of some pretty simple mechanics. 4, count to 4. This is one of the this is the kind of game for me that, like, on a first playthrough, every little puzzle is satisfying. So you're slowly learning new things, and it makes the speedrun really enjoyable. It's as much about trying to solve these obstacles as quickly as possible as it is the actual platforming and juggling like you see there. That's another mechanic we'll learn a little bit more about later on. Whenever you grab a checkpoint, it resets a room. Sometimes you don't want to reset rooms. You've already opened a door, you've already got an item. You want to keep that door open, so you've got to actually avoid checkpoints. Eventually we'll use the checkpoints to manipulate platforms and make our way through the latter part of the game. I'm going to set up another death warp right here. Just save about 2 seconds after we drop down here and get this key card. There's 20 of these green key cards in total. Like I said, 10 extra color palettes that make up the 100% requirements. Another hidden color palette down here. Just got to drop off the head, get that door unlocked. Now when I get a color palette, I can immediately self-destruct and warp back to the last checkpoint. The key cards are a bit different. When you collect a key card, it follows you. And in order for you to get credit for that key card, your head and your body have to be together, and you have to be on the ground. It's kind of similar to collecting the strawberries in Celeste. I'll show you right here. See, it's just going to follow me until I collect the head, and then it runs into me. Which means if you grab a checkpoint or you take a death before you've collected that key card, you didn't collect it, even if you went and got it. So it's important to keep in mind. There's a little bit of speed tech here and there that helps collect the cards more quickly without having to stop or turn back. Use get rid of our head here to make this platform move. Try not to die to the spikes. And there's a trick here. I'm going to try exactly 3 times, and if I don't get it, we're going to do it the slow way, and I'll explain why. There's 1. There's 2. And there's 3. Alright. So, the intended strat for this is to stand on this platform and wait for 60 seconds. Because ElecHead's going to power down, if you will, and his electricity will turn off and this platform will move. The platform is literally designed so you can't do what I was trying to do. It's a very particular set of inputs where you have to stay running forward the same time as the platform's moving back and forth. You have to basically do a 2-frame jump into the head across this screen transition. You can do it. It's in my PB. But if you try more than about 3 or 4 times, it starts to lose a bit too much time. So we're just going to sit here. 100%, like I said, in this game is all of the color palettes and all the key cards. We're going to get the alternate ending with that. And this is built into my estimate, so Marathon is still on schedule. I just like to try it's by far the hardest trick in the run. especially to do in a marathon setting. So we got that. There's several other secrets in this game outside of the color palettes and the key cards. The decision of the community was to basically make the 100% category everything that the game tracks. We use in-game time for the official leaderboards, and the final screen tells you how many key cards and color palettes you got. So, like most games, 100% is kind of a nebulous idea more than it is a, concrete, this is exactly 100% of a game. So there are other things to find and explore. There's a lot of rooms that just show you poop. But we're about through a little bit through half of the game. We're onto the 4th teleporter here. And this is an area, if you went up there, you think you found something secret, it's just poop. We're going to add some more mechanics now. We got some projectile shooters we're turning on. There's a really cool strat coming up. I'm going to try to nail it here, where we just dodge all these bullets, and there it is. Really start to see the game combining things you've learned from the past. It does it very well. You probably notice that if I cling against the wall, I get a kind of a wall slide, which I'm trying to do as little as possible because it is slow. Throw the head forward, save a little bit of time there. Don't fall in the hole. I'm gonna try to short this jump. It's a really tricky strat right there. A lot of this game you're not going to see on a speedrun because I already know the answer to all the puzzles, so there's still a little bit of, life in this game, which I would highly recommend picking up. It's a great time. Great way to support a solo indie developer. So we're just making our way through kind of the middle half of the game, collecting all the key cards. It's kind of a lack of color palettes for a little bit, but I'm going to try to one cycle this, and there we go. Got a couple more hard tricks coming up, and then we'll have a little bit of a break until the end.
Jumping
thanks,
quickly,
Disco.
just with a donation.
Yeah, go for it.
We have had $30 from Science Chub. So excited to see Grave Ash, the Good Jake would debut their co-op run of Telecotion Gemini, especially during such a great event and for such a I'll put my teeth in now, for such a good cause. Much love to all the runners and staff for the hard work. And with that, the upgrade to 100% of Telecotion Gemini has been done, and Angry Scots are now in the lead with $31 for the voice pack for Worms Armageddon. Thank you very much, Dan the VP. Back over to you.
Thanks for those donations, getting that run upgraded. I thought I completely messed up that strat, so I'm glad I wasn't talking, because I definitely wouldn't have made it. We one-cycled those shooters. So we're going into my favorite part of the game. We get to gamble, and we get to play a little mini-game. So we're going to activate that teleporter. We're going to come back here. We're going to go down and play some slots. So hopefully we get it on the first try. Let's see. Nope, we got 1 poop, 2 poop. We don't want poop. Alright. Third try is a charm. So all we want this morning is the poop. There we go. Just wanted to show off all the possibilities. You go back to this teleporter we activated and go on to the other mini game in this game. There's lots of poop in this game. Most of it you won't see during this run, thankfully, but I'm gonna jump. We need 30 of these key cards in the time limit we have to unlock all of the items we need to grab. So hopefully we'll get it first try. It can be a little tricky. This is all random. You can see the outlines of where the cards are going to show up. It's kind of like an on-the-fly routing the mini game to try to get as many. 3 more. Oh, right at the end. Let's go. Now we get all of these. Let's teleport back to 5. And here we go. This is what I like to call like the chill part of the game. It's solving the puzzles. It's kind of the theme here. A little less than the platforming and kind of dodging the shooters and stuff, which is a really nice break in the speed run for me because it's just alright. All I gotta do is remember what's next. Gonna pick up a couple of secrets here. Some more key cards to grab. We're almost through all of the collectibles, all of the key cards. Once we get through the 5th teleporter section, we'll have all the cards we're gonna get for a while. We've got to see the end of the game to get the rest of the color palettes. I really enjoy the 100% run of this game because it's the only one that shows off basically the entire game. The alternate ending stops before the final section of the game. And the final section of the game has a lot of really cool kind of new mechanics and some puzzles that were a lot of fun to figure out. Hopefully I do them quick enough that you don't remember them, so you can go solve them for yourselves. Well, I might as well show it because I'm here. That's poop. We got another color palette, another key card to pick up here. Do a little bit of tricky platforming to get up there quickly. Go up here and grab this key card. I'm going to try to one-cycle this section. This is not intended. But you can see when I lose my head, there's a countdown on screen. And if I'm away from my head for too long, I die. If you ever see 1 on the screen, that is about as close as you can cut it. Alright, I'm going to get rid of the head here so we can go under these shooters. A lot of the movement in this game is very kind of fine attention to detail. Corner boosting like that, trying to stay off of the walls, trying to jump under these semi-solid platforms. Most of the semi-solid platforms I'm jumping through, I'm doing kind of less than a full jump so I can land. The game has a pretty generous input buffer, so you can basically jump a few frames before you hit the ground and you'll get the jump. So it's pretty easy to do like first frame jumps, if you will, but it's rather difficult to get through these semi-solid platforms and land on them optimally. Another secret right here. I'm gonna come through. I'm gonna take this safe because there's not a good checkpoint if I were to mess that part up. Got another little puzzle here. Use the checkpoint to reset this platform a couple times. And get the head over there to activate this bridge. I really like that puzzle. It's big. Makes you feel really smart when you solve some of these puzzles on your first playthrough. You're going to reset a couple of these platforms with these checkpoints. So get back through. Got a color palette to collect over here. I'm just lose my head and death warp back to that checkpoint and save a little bit of time. Get under these shooters. Be a one-tile robot. Another secret over here. This one's kind of tricky. I like doing it from the right. Oh, first try. Let's go. It's a really... I'm just going to say that's a 4-frame jump. I have no idea what the actual timing is, but it's really tight. We'll say 4 frames. Alright, so we're getting to the end of this section. We've got a couple more platforming sections to go. The very last one in this section is incredibly tight. It's a little less than intended. Gotta time this right. So next room, I'm going to throw my head way earlier than intended, but it saves about a second because I don't have to turn around and throw my head. But you'll see the numbers ticking down, and we'll probably get to 1 and hopefully not die. Yeah, there's 1. Alright. So now we're on to the last bit. This would be basically the end of an alternate ending run. We get the 6th teleporter. And then we come up here and get the secret teleporter. And we don't need that yet. There's a couple more key cards up there, and that's the access to the alternate ending. But this is 100%, so we're going to forge on ahead. I would talk more about the end of this game, but I'd rather people just play and figure it out themselves as to what the rest of the section is for. Because luckily, none of the speed runs, other than any percent, spoil the big secret ending. So, all of these puzzles also are really tight. Trying to not die to these shooters. Alright, there we go. There's one more really hard trick coming up. It's gonna involve dropping through a semi-solid platform without electrifying the platform, which that will hopefully make sense once I get there. Basically have some electricity that if you make contact with the ground at all, it'll zap you. So you've got to throw your head, and I'm gonna have to drop through a semi-solid platform before catching my head, but not too quickly so that the head then lands on the semi-solid platform. Because if either of those happen, you die. Preferably, we don't want to die. Kind of the last little thing the game teaches you is how to build these circuits, both with your body and with your head. And we're coming in to the second to last color palette here. And this is the trick. And we got a second try. That's pretty good to get that second try. It's about the second best you could do. Gonna take this elevator up, connect a couple more circuits to get access to the very last color palette. And when we get to that color palette, most of the color palettes, I need to keep this all together, don't I? Most of the color palettes I've been getting, I've been throwing my head at the color palette and then self-destructing to teleport back to a checkpoint. On the last color palette I grab, which is right up here, I'm going to grab with my whole body, and I'm going to teleport back to that secret teleporter we just got. You can go to a teleporter without your head, but then you would run out of time and you would die. Oh, well, I did that wrong. So I've got to make sure I've got my head when I go to that teleporter. So once that happens, they're going to do 2 more little platforming sections to get 2 more key cards. It's going to happen pretty quickly. And it's the last real puzzly bit. And this took me a while to figure out. Because the game kind of forces you to figure this out. And that is, you can grab a key card and then teleport. And that key card follows you. So these are the 2 puzzles that kind of teach you that. And this should be the last key card right here. We've gotten all the color palettes. I hope. We'll be able to check that at the end. And that's 20 of 20. Find the secret locked door here we can access. We're going to go to the secret ending. So does anybody want to guess what's going to happen? Like, how does this game end? Because it was kind of surprising to me, especially this alternate ending. We're going to ride a big elevator up. If anybody in chat has a guess as to what is going to end this game, feel free to shout it out in chat. While we're waiting on this elevator, shout out to everybody in the ElecHead speedrunning community, Plush and Crep, for helping route this game and getting some good runs in. Shout out to Nama Takahashi, the dev, and Tsuyomi, the composer. I am Dan, the VP, and we're about to end right here. The game just got quick retry and credit skip, so if you're looking for a run, here we go. Time's going to stop in 3, 2, 1, time. And if your guess was we power up a giant space laser and destroy the Earth, then you won. That's
It's an unexpected end.
Yes, it is. So,
well, GG.
We got the in-game timer coming up here. We can skip the credits. 24:58.